Baboony Tim back here. Today we're going to be talking about, oh my gosh, what is happening? It's been 0 days since I last talked about patriarchs. Oh no. Anyways, I thought you guys might have been getting tired of the Gospel of Christ stuff, so we've been trying to look at content that's been not anything to do with Gospel of Christ here. And patriarchs is really fun. So anyways, this deck, the concept of it, Mr. TylerTalks came up with this type of deck. And let's take a look. He calls it Blue Go Hard, but I like the name Berry Toss because you have the blueberries, you got the blackberries, you got the blue, you got the black. Let's get into it. All right, so if you're a Patriarchs player, this is the face you make when you see these type of effects. Anything with like a Reap the Whirlwind Scattered type of thing cannot be negated under deck or withdraw or shuffle. You know, these cards are pretty terrifying for you. The only saving grace is a lot of them have multiple brigades in them. I know Reap the Whirlwind doesn't, but all the other ones, they have multiple brigades in them. So the idea is we get the Goshen out, and this says while a patriarch is in battle, toss all enhancements with a different brigade than the character using it. So yeah, we're going to get Abraham in here, all the patriarchs, and they're going to get to go into battle, and they're just going to live their life with no fear of what the opponent is doing. Also, so this says when a meek character is in battle, this also applies to defense. If you have a meek character that is blocking, or if they're attacking with like a meek converted clay hero, then all their enhancements with a different brigade are being tossed. And so if you're a Gospel of Christ player and the opponent has a Goshen out, this is your hand most of the time. You're going to be ending up with so many enhancements in your hand that you can't play because you may just have like a meek disciple and you're like, oh no. So Goshen is really good against Gospel of Christ offenses. So if you've watched any of my videos about patriarchs or anything like that, you kind of know this by now, but Abraham is probably the best card in this type of decks. You go get Abraham, search for your 3 visitors, end up with the Beeg Banding chain. This deck's not trying to go super big on the banding, it's trying to get a lot of value. So here's what I mean. So you can go Abraham, 3 visitors into the Jacob, follower of God. You can grab a battle winner from your deck, be it like a negate or an artifact like this. Or you can even go for Joseph. I've been really liking Joseph because he can grab a really nice battle winner with reserve for famine, or even your storehouse. And if you're feeling real spicy, you can use a dominant slot to grab out of their hands and go with a nice protected attack. And if you're going really, really spicy, you can use Abraham and find Asher from your deck, who can play a good Genesis Fortress or Son of Jacob from the deck. So you can go Abraham, find your Asher, play Goshen down, and that's a pretty good turn 1 attack. You have some options to extend the band with any sort of mix and match pieces. You can mix and match Benjamin in there. You can mix and match Judah. Judah is really nice because you can just get a negate on a evil card in their territory that's causing you problems. And Benjamin's nice to protect lost souls. This deck also has the peace combo. So the idea is you throw peace on the first person you're going to be banding with, and then peace will activate and the banding will happen. So you just have like this giant chain of heroes in battle, tossing all enhancements. And so you can like throw this on Eliezer or Abraham, or whoever is the first person who's going to be who's going to be put into battle. This deck is playing a lot of ways to get Abraham down on turn 1, like Faith of Abraham, Covet of Noah, Angel of the Winds can search for him. Faith of Noah can grab a Genesis artifact or a good fortress. So you can grab your Covenant of Noah, or you can use this to grab Goshen, whatever piece you're missing. And this deck doesn't have a lot of card draw on the offense. The best it can do is Eliezer of Damascus to draw a card, or 3 if this guy's in play. And if this guy attacks, you can draw 2 if a meek hero's in play. So yeah, not a lot of good options here on card draw. You could try to play the other Jacob, but I've been really liking the Jacob who can take a good enhancement from the deck. For defense, going with the Herdsmen just because of how strong Matthew decks are right now. And having the option to block with this guy on turn 1 is really strong. And plus Goshen, we have access to that meek Philistine to do a powerful block with that too. So you're going to have your heavy hitters like Goliath, who's really good against heroes with banding. It gets band, draw, and play abilities, and forces heroes to withdraw. So if opponent just has 1 hero, you block with Goliath, you force it back, they can't attack anymore. So pretty strong turn 1 block. Philistine Invaders, really useful card. Can take out sites, can take out enhancements, artifacts, fortresses, or humans. So whatever you need. In Herdsmen, you probably know this card by now, but really good card. If your opponent is drawing a lot of cards on their turn, you can block with this and draw a lot of cards as well. You have cards, many cards in your deck to find the Herdsman. You got the cards like the Deceiver, Abimelech, Philistine Armor Bearer. All these cards can go find Deceiver. And for the extra spicy play, your Covenant of Noah can take a Genesis Human from your deck. And guess what? Your Shepherds is going to be Genesis Human. So this might come into play sometimes, but probably not. You have some Philistines in your reserve, like the Terrifying Philistines, like we talked about. This guy's going to be good. If you have Goshen in play, you can plop him down. Maybe the opponent won't see that coming. Commander Fight Claws, I like this guy. You can block with him, equip some weapons from reserve, and ban to a Philistine. So you have some Philistines in here that aren't kings. And lastly, I got King Ekshish. He can draw 2 cards, play some OT enhancements. So just kind of strong Philistines, you know. To help out the defense, we got some add to battle cards like Warrior Overtaken and Sheol. This finds not only does it find your best evil Philistine in your deck or reserve, you can discard a hero and territory to add evil Philistine to battle. So something I didn't know, but you have to discard a hero and a territory in order to do this effect. So if they attack on turn 1, they don't have any heroes in territory, you can't really use this to add it to battle. The best you can do is like use it to search for evil Philistine, then block with that. All right, Sheol. This card is probably in almost every deck, but punishes that search, and it's just a solid add to battle. Something that I learned about Sheol recently is, number 1, if you don't have any evil characters in play, this unity does not apply. So if opponent just has a Sheol sitting out and I'm searching, they're not going to be able to underdeck Lost Souls until they put an evil character into play. And secondly, if you're running a mono black defense, and your opponent has a if your opponent has a black character in their territory, you can use your shield, discard your shield to add that their human. As long as it's matching your unity, you can use this to add their human to battle, because apparently this defaults to play. And so anything in play, you can trigger this on. So correct me in the comments if I'm wrong about that, but I didn't know that. I thought it'd be nice to let you guys know about that too. So in a deck that's trying to attack and ban to a lot of people, the Pot of Mana is going to be really restrictive on that game plan. This deck doesn't have a lot of battle winners as far as enhancements for trying to win in a 1v1 fight. It's more of like trying to rely on their numbers and then negating whatever the opponent's going to be doing in battle. Abraham does have the saving grace where he negates neutral cards. So if they have a Pot of Mana that can be negated, then you can just negate that and then do your banding. Holy of Holies is also pretty annoying if you don't have a way to negate it. All your characters, for the most part, can be negated by Holy of Holies. This can slow your deck down a lot too. To answer the hate, there's a card in the reserve that I'm trying out. I am Sustainer. When you activate it, your single brigade OT heroes cannot be prevented in battle. So if they put down a Holy of Holies and you activate Sustainer, it's going to make it that your heroes cannot be prevented by the Holy of Holies. And you have cards like 3 Woes and First Sacrifice in your reserve to also negate the neutral cards that are trying to shut you down. And lastly, here's a cute little thing you can do. So Jacob, you can play him as this side, but sometimes you can play him at this side. I have Israel's bow in my reserve, which you can grab with a Storehouse, and you can put the bow on Israel, and when he attacks, you can discard it to take a fortress. So if there's a fortress that's giving you problems, this is like a line that you can do. Anyways, so I hope you've bared with me about talking about Patriarchs for another time, but I'll upload some gameplay soon, and I'll see you there.